the next 45 minutes or whatever it is. And in that space, we share meditation, we share in affirmative prayer, we share in singing, we share in laughing, we share in learning. And so we just built this time, this energy, because everything is energy. And the focus when we come together is to focus on that energy field that we create as a group. And I can feel it already. It's tingly kind of almost. It's kind of weird. But anyway, so I want to welcome everybody here. As you know, we have no dogma, no creed, but we do have 5 principles that guide our philosophy. And I've been going over a series of this book, The 5 Principles. And this is the last week, and so we're going to wrap up that today. And I want to ask you, is there anybody here for the first time who does not mind introducing themselves? You don't have to, but if you would like, we'll welcome you. Oh, thank you.
Hi, our name is Rodolfo, because I'm Rudy Subieta, and I'm Liliana. I go by Lili Subieta, and we live here in Very Quick.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to Unity Church by the Hills.
Okay.
We were trying this one because it's close to.
It's a lot closer. It's a lot closer. Well, thank you for being here, and welcome, of course. Anyone else? Oh, John. John is part of, we have a little dinner group that gets together on Friday, and John's part of that group. So I said, hey, John, what's up? You know, I haven't been here all that long, so I said, I'm not even sure I remember seeing you here before. But I guess not, but welcome. Now you've become part of our Sunday group as well. That's very good. So some announcements real quickly. You know, we have that Let's Get Metaphysical class we do on Wednesday mornings at right across the park. I mean, the park here right across the street. Legacy Hills Park, here, whatever it's called. And we've started listening to TED Talks, and we started this last Wednesday, and we had some very interesting conversation. I will be out of town this week because I'm going to return home to celebrate my big 7-0 on Thursday. The big 7-0, yes, it's true. I'm no longer a teenager. And so we won't have it this week. And Alice also has a study group that meets on the 4th Tuesday, right? Yeah. Downtown at the Lark and Owl. See if ever stays with me. At 10 o'clock, right? 10? Yeah. 10 to 12. And we were going to have it this week, but she's going to be busy on that day. So we're going to postpone it till October. It's in the newsletter. And the book is The Universal Christ by Father Richard Rohr. Those of you who are familiar with Father Rohr, Richard Rohr, I don't know if he likes being called Father or not, who knows. But anyway, so that's been postponed till the following one. Next Sunday, we have a volunteer appreciation luncheon that the board wants to put together for the people. And everybody's invited. Because really, you know, we're one big spiritual family. So, but I want to get an idea, if I could get a show of hands, roughly how many would be staying afterwards for, half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, so that we can get a more or less idea. Who would think they would be staying? Okay, that's a good 30 people or something, right? Probably 30, 40. That's all right. It gives us a general idea at least. And let me see, are there any other announcements for this week? Not that I can come up with. Oh, we don't have a presentation slide this week because Liz, our board president, and Maria, who is our admin assistant, they went to California because they're having a service for Liz's mom, who passed away a few months ago, and they're going to have it this week, and so they took off. And nobody seems to know the password to the Google Drive, to the Google Drive. So we'll just live without it, I suppose. But anyway, so if that's it, then I invite you to stand up, and let's begin with our opening song, I Am a Light. And it's a repetitive song. So whatever you hear, just repeat, I am a light, I am a light.
am a light.
I am a light.
I am a light.
I am a light.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
I am a light.
I am a light.
I am a light.
I am a light.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
This is the place.
This is the place.
This is the time.
This is the time.
Let it shine.
Let it shine.
Let it shine.
Let it shine.
I see the joy.
I see the joy.
I see the joy.
I see the joy.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
I see the joy.
I see the joy.
I see the joy.
I see the joy.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world. This is the place.
This is the place.
This is the time.
This is the time.
Let it shine.
Let it shine.
Let it shine.
Let it shine.
Live in love every day.
I'm living love every day.
I'm living love every day.
I'm living love every day.
Living love on the way.
I'm living love every day.
Spreading peace along the way.
Praying peace along the way.
Right time,
Right now,
right place.
right place.
Living love
Living love
every day.
every day.
We are the light.
We are the light.
We are the light.
We are the light
In this place.
in this place.
In this place.
In this place.
The light.
The light.
We are the light.
We are the light
In this world.
in this world.
In this world.
This world.
This is the place.
This is the place.
This is the time.
This is the time.
Let it shine.
Let it shine.
Let it shine.
Let it shine.
This is the place.
This is the place.
This is the time.
This is the time.
Let it shine.
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 Good morning.
Morning.
We have on the table here the Divine Order candles. We light the candle of mind. We light the candle of idea. We light the candle of expression. There is one universal mind, the soul and source and sole origin of all real intelligence, the realm of infinite possibilities. Mind expresses itself from the invisible energies of divine ideas through thought. Expression is the manifestation of divine ideas expressed into reality. And now we have another song led by Dan. It is God is My Source.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love God gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Now it's time for our prayer of intention. Actually, with this one, if you can remember it, go ahead and say it with me. Memory.
Check.
Hard at this age. Living Spirit opens our minds, opens our hearts, touches us all deeply with love, and sends us out as agents. Agents of love, agents of peace, agents of justice. Amen. Well, we don't have any little ones today, so let's be in that wonderful, childlike attitude, full of joy and curiosity, and ready to listen to whatever God has planned for us to hear today. And now we have our unity statement of being and our mission and vision statements. Okay. All right. Okay. We're going to get through this. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And now for our vision and mission statements. Centered in God, we co-create a world of love, peace, and abundance. We are a thriving spiritual community, inspiring and empowering individual and global transformation as exemplified by the life and teachings of Jesus.
The daily word for today is thoughtfulness. Oh, brother. Today, I bring the love and peace of God to all of my encounters by being thoughtful. More than politeness and deeper than kindness, thoughtfulness means I consider the comfort and the happiness of others equal to my own. My intention is to let those in my life know what they mean to me. I may reach out to someone who needs an encouraging word, letting them know they have what it takes to succeed. I may surprise somebody with a kind act, anticipating a need and taking care of something for them before they have to ask. Each thoughtful word and act lets those in my life know how important they are to me and how worthy they are of my time and attention. And from Hebrews chapter 13, verse 16, do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God. Today's affirmation is, my kind thoughts and deeds are a blessing. Please repeat that affirmation twice with me. My kind thoughts and deeds are a blessing. My kind thoughts and deeds are a blessing.
I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I got a new day down in my soul. I got a new day down in my soul. I got a new day down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I love the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul. I feel the silence down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. Yes, it is. And the whole wide world is my home.
And now we enter into our time of community prayer. Lord, we are so grateful for all the blessings we have received this week. Even in the challenging times, we are grateful for your presence and comfort. You already know the stirrings of our heart and mind before any words are spoken. At this time, we may now say out loud or silently the names of all those or any situation which needs special attention at this time. We know that these names and situations are being held in your wonderful, loving arms, that healing has begun, and we are grateful. And now let's close our time of prayer time today by singing an ancient prayer, a prayer handed down through the ages that affirms God's realm manifest in earth as it is in heaven, our Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven,
This morning, our spiritual practice is on living in the present moment. Practice living in the present moment. Enjoy the present moment instead of being consumed with guilt over the past or worry about the future. Refuse to allow any thoughts based on your past to define you. Stop and take time to notice all that's in your immediate space: the people, the creatures, the trees, the grass, the flowers, the clouds, everything. Stay in the present by meditating and in getting closer to the ultimate now, God. Let us take the next 2 minutes going into the silence. If you feel comfortable, please close your eyes and move your hands to your heart. Ground yourself into the nurturing Mother Earth. Surround yourself with a warm golden light and deeply breathe in that healing light. Allow your body to relax and drop into that space where God waits for you in the silence. As you bring your self back into this sacred space, there's a quote by Wayne Dyer. The truth is that you can only come to know God if you're willing to be at peace in the present moment.
Up above my head, I hear the music play. Up above my head, I hear the music play. Up above my head, I hear the music play. And I know, yes I know, there's a God somewhere.
And I'll turn on the mic. This is a time when we share in laughter. It's part of something that I introduced into this, because just thinking back of the old days with the Reader's Digest, laughter is the best medicine. And it really, in many ways, it really, truly, truly is. And so I've been having people send me jokes because I ran out of them. So if you have some, so I don't remember who sent me this one, but it says, MIT graduate interview. Reaching the end of a job interview, the human resources officer asked a young engineer fresh out of Massachusetts Institute of Technology, "And what starting salary are you looking for?" The engineer replies, "Well, in the region of $125,000 a year, depending on the benefits package." The interviewer glances over her assistant and gives her one of those looks. And she said, oh, sure, $125,000, no problem. So what would you say to a package of 5 weeks vacation, 14 paid holidays, full medical and dental, company matching retirement fund to 50% of salary, and a company car leased every 2 years, say a red Corvette? Boy, this guy, he's sitting up, boy, he sits up straight up, his eyes are that big, and says, are you kidding? And the interviewer says, well, yeah, but you started it. $125,000. Sure, no problem. So this week, we continue and conclude our review of Unity's 5 principles with a look at principle number 5, which states, I do and give my best by living the truth I know. I make a difference. I make a difference. I call this walking the walk. And I get that phrase from Jimmy Johnson, who used to be the Dallas Cowboy head coach back when the Cowboys were winning championships, which is about 500 or 600 years ago now, I think. Something like that, somewhere around that range. Because, you know, a lot of people in sports like to trash talk. And one time Jimmy tells them, if you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. So basically that's saying you need to put your words into action. And in this case, it means putting our beliefs into action. In the booklet, which we have outside, and which you can get in 5 easy payments, by the way, and also with the 5 principles, they're available in 5 easy payments. In the Keys to the Kingdom, the 5 principles section starts with this regarding walking the walk. It says, merely owning a deluxe set of bodybuilding equipment does not produce physical improvement. Gains are made only when these tools are consistently used. In the same way, comprehending the nature of God and humankind, understanding the power of the mind, and knowing how to pray will not stimulate spiritual growth unless it is applied to daily living. Walk the walk, practice, practice, practice. We've been talking about that for several weeks now. This is such a key point. I want to be clear that we are clear on this idea of practice. In fact, next week I will introduce some more spiritual practices that I want you to familiarize yourself with that Unity has. I'm not sure that you know that they're there, and I want to make sure that you do know. So that's one of the many distinct differences between Unity approach to spirituality and tradition. It is that Unity represents a change of view that flows over from Sunday into all the rest of the week. So the practices that we participate in here on Sunday mornings, the meditations, the spiritual practices, the affirmative prayers, the singing, all these are for the purpose of ultimately helping you establish to have these practices during the week. So not just Sunday. We don't come to, like, when growing up Catholic, you go to church on Sunday and you're done for the week. It's like, I don't have to think about that anymore. It's kind of like, it's more of a change in the lifestyle, in how you see things. Unity see things very differently. We have a different approach to life and a different approach to how we live life. In short, it's a transformation. And that is exactly the goal that we seek in Unity. Is that transformation complete? No, of course not. But is it underway? Yes, it is underway. If you're in a Unity Center, your transformation process has begun. But the practices is a big part of it. And so we do this all over again. And so as I said, we don't seek salvation in Unity. For us, we're eternal beings. That's our starting point. So we're not looking for salvation, we're looking for transformation. A different way of looking at this miracle that we call life. And of course, the change starts from within, not from without. Jesus said to Nicodemus one time, he said, no one can see the kingdom unless he be born again. Flesh gives birth to flesh. Spirit gives birth to spirit. And of course, Nicodemus, his response is like, well, how can a grown man enter back into his mother's womb? And I said, Nicodemus, you're not getting the point here, sir. And understandable, because it has to do with, spiritual stages of unfolding. And Jesus was trying to tell him that we need to see this material existence as secondary in nature and not primary in nature. To what we say, that we're spirits having a human experience, to see life from a higher and a new perspective. And that is what my mantra, I've told you over and over. My mantra, I started it back at RGV, and I used to start every Sunday. We have got to change the way that we see things. And that's what Jesus was telling Nicodemus. You must be born again. And that's what that means. This is consistent with our fundamental view that life happens from the inner world into the outer world, from that which is not seen to that which is seen. And once again, in reference to the keys to the kingdom, there's an article at the very beginning, and it was written by Connie Fillmore, same lady, great-granddaughter of the Fillmores, and same lady who wrote the 5 principles. And she says this, in case you're not clear about Unity's position on this. In Unity, we believe that the entire world and everything in it had its beginning as an idea. And where do we get that from? In the beginning was the Word, right? We believe that everything we can see and touch is a manifestation of the interaction between the mind of God and the thinking of human beings. In a very real sense, you and I have created our individual experiences, and these experiences merge with those experiences of other people, and together we create this universe, this world. This is completely contrary to traditional thinking, which says that life is happening to us, that we're victims. But that's part of the separation consciousness that has existed for a very long time. That's beginning to change. The new age thinking is telling us that no, it's not happening to us, it's happening by us. That we have more control than we know, especially when we get together in numbers. Numbers is important, as I said earlier, because your energy and my energy, and we were talking about that Wednesday with Elle, because she's going to help us out a little bit, because all these things that come up during these talks, discussions, and we talked about Elle was going to do something about heart math. When we get to this practice, the spiritual practice that we do during the service, well, we're going to have one pretty soon with Elle having something about Heart Math Institute. I'm surprised that a lot of people don't know do you all know what heart math is? Yes? Okay, a lot of people don't. So that's why we're going to introduce you to that. And then I forgot who it was. I think it was Kathy, right? Kathy Regan, who says she does Qigong. And I said, why don't you come in and let's do a little practice on Qigong one Sunday. So we want to introduce more things like that, again, so that you can take these home and actually put them to use. Because part of the changing how we see things, because we have not fully accepted our role as co-creators, active participants in the universe. That is what we're working on. As the book said, we don't use that power very well yet, because it's a new tool that we have, and we haven't mastered it. And then when we do use it, we use it without the total conviction that it requires. And I'm guilty. We're all guilty of it. And so it kind of doesn't. So sometimes it doesn't work, and it reinforces the idea that, well, because it doesn't work, because that's not true. But it's not that it's not true. It's that we don't have the conviction. Believe that you can. It's a hard thing to change because of our background, especially when, like me, I didn't get introduced to Unity till I was 50 years old. You know, if I had from day one, or let's say 5, 6 lifetimes ago, maybe things would be different. But but we're learning that what we focus on, we empower, and that's part of this putting things into practice idea. That applies to everything that we do. If you want to be if you want to see something, be that you want to see. And she talks about that on page 119 of the book. She says, this is good to know. It means that rather than fighting against whatever we dislike, we simply withdraw our energy from it, and it will leave our experience. Let me read that again. Withdraw your energy from it, and it will leave our experience. Do you believe that? Does that sound strange to you? Maybe a little or a lot woo-woo? Any old quotes come to mind about that statement? How about resist not evil? So if you thought that was woo-woo, then I guess you suppose that the Bible is woo-woo too, because that's where that comes from. And if you think that's woo-woo, then you think that quantum physics is woo-woo, because quantum physics is telling us that without the observer, there is nothing to observe. That we draw forth the manifestation through observation. So now science is woo-woo as well. So where are we going to go with this? Is there another phrase that talks about something similar? Yes. That which you resist persists. And I think I read that Jung used that a lot. Is that true? That he used that a lot. So now psychology has joined the woo-woo circle. The entire universe is. I'm telling you, Einstein said this. He said, you have two ways of looking at this life. One is as if nothing is a miracle, and the other is as if everything is a miracle. Which one do you like? Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore wrote, pronounce every experience good and of God, and by that mental attitude, you will call forth only the good. What seemed error will disappear, and only the good will remain. This is the law, and no one can break it. That's what Fillmore said. And that's strange, because Principle 5 is telling us to walk the walk, to get our hands dirty, to get into the mixture of things. And Fillmore's words and that other statement almost says like, oh, turn your back on it, get away, and don't even think about it, and it'll disappear. But Reverend Ellen, the author, she says, so one can argue, but we've got to do something. It doesn't affect me, maybe, but it affects other people, and it seems it has to be stopped, and it's bad, and I would be cold and selfish, she writes, not to care. Well, she goes on and says, I'm not saying not to care. I'm saying to be careful how you care. Are you caring through resistance or through support, she says? Are you against something or in favor of its opposite? So that's kind of the thing that came to my mind was like catching flies with honey instead of vinegar. She said, make sure your actions come from an energy of what you are for. Positive affirmations. Because those of you who are familiar with the law of attraction, you know that words really matter. And what you say, you have to understand what it is the universe is hearing from you. What is it hearing from you? And so that's why you have to be cautious with your words and the energy you put forth. So she says, suppose you're at a buffet table and there's all this food, and some of it you like and some of it you don't like. Would you throw a tantrum simply because of the food that you didn't like was there and insist that it be removed? Of course not. You would not give it that kind of energy. Would you condemn the people who liked it? No. You would simply focus on that which you like, and that's all. So she says, in some cases, to live the truth may not require physical action. Metaphysical action may be all it requires. And we know that metaphysical action is much more powerful. We're learning that even in medicine now. Isn't that true? That the power of the mind is more effective than the medicines that they give you. We're still learning. We're learning. And this is all about looking at things from the soul level, at that place. So yes, we are all in need of raising our consciousness, but in the process, we are also in need of helping each other. And that's what Unity Principle number 5 is about. That's where the practicality in the spirituality lies as part of the formula for the 5 principles. So the central question in Principle 5 asks this: what is mine to do? Ask yourself that question. What is mine to do? What is yours to do? What is ours to do as a community? Every effort, however small it may be, is a step in the right direction of bettering the human experience on this planet. Walk the walk. We talked about that in one of the videos, right, Therese? That long ago, when the planet was beginning to kind of take hold, all there was were these little single cells, little bacteria. And they produced oxygen because there was no oxygen in the atmosphere on Earth. It was nothing. So it was, when they expel, the breathing, they let out oxygen. But these little creatures that would live like 2 weeks, the video says, you can imagine that they, if they were considering, like we think about what we do and how our purpose and things like that, if they were thinking about that, they would probably live and die and said, man, I lived for 2 weeks, and the way I found the planet is the way I left it. I don't see any difference. But yet, those little tiny things over millions of years created the atmosphere and ultimately the ozone that the Earth has that allowed it to open up to this greater, more complex life. And so you could say that if they did that, and they had no idea, no vision of that we were to come. The Unity Spiritual Center Georgetown was way up, way down the line. They did not have that vision, but they're the ones who were responsible for it. And so the same can be said of you. What are you responsible for that you may have no clue what you're contributing to down the road? It is so big. And I really like that thought. And we all did. And so these are our 5 principles that guide our philosophy. They're our reference points. So let me conclude the talks about the 5 principles with a quick overview of them real quickly. Principle 1, we established that as omnipotent, omniscient, everywhere presence, notice I said presence, not present. Presence. God is all there is. Principle 1 says, if God is omnipotent, all-knowing, everywhere present, all-powerful, then what else is there? Nothing. Everything is God. And Reverend Kelly Isola in the book, the little booklet of the 5 principles, she says for her that from that all there isness, then all the other 4 principles are really just putting to practice that oneness that we all are. And so because everything is God, or that if God is all there is, then it follows logically that we are an expression of that oneness. And so is everything else. This is the grand paradox. The one being the infinite many. The one being the infinite many. That's a paradox. So in a real sense, we are God because of principle 1. And I know some people are uncomfortable with that idea that we are God. That's, wow. Well, it's because of this oneness idea. You just have to let it kind of soak in a different kind of way. And then principle 3 reminds us that we have this creative nature, that as images of this oneness, then we have this power. And the key to the power is in the thoughts and the feelings that we have, that we hold. And then principle 4 beckons us to align ourselves with this power. And you use that power, the one presence and the one power, in a way that it guides us. It's our intuition, our GPS, or as Reverend, what was his name? From the first book, whatever. He says the SPS, the spiritual positioning system. Reverend Smith, that was his name. And that's what guides us towards the direction that, of a higher good for everybody. And then finally, principle 5 asks us the question I just said. What is mine to do? What special gift do you have that can serve the greatest good to humanity? And that answer can only come from within, by listening, by practicing to listen to the voice within. We all need to do it. So I'm going to invite you, I'm going to close out this with a short little tiny meditation and ask Dan to give me some little background music. I invite you to close your eyes if you are comfortable with that, and just a short little meditation on Principle 5. What is mine to do? How am I to serve? I have come to this human experience not just for myself, but for others. And I stand ready to share God's love with them. That God expresses through me and as me. I make myself ready. I ask for my perfect place of service. I live the truth knowing that God is all, that I am God, that we are co-creators, and I am never separate from divine radiance. I let my heart expand for those who need love. I give as it has been given to me, and I am grateful for us all. So have a blessed, blessed week. Now comes the time when we offer our tithes and our offerings to our spiritual community. So we take our tithes and our offerings in our hands, and we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. I give in love, and I trust God.
Everything I see, everything I do is blessed by your hand, God. I give it back to you. Everything I give, every thought that's true is magnified in kind, God. I give it back to you.
Send forth your energy to these tithes and offerings. And together we say, we bless and dedicate these tithes and offerings as an expression of divine love. And we release them to manifest that love in our community and in our world. And so it is. And normally this would be the time when we bring out the children and we bless them. And Mimi, where is Mimi? Oh, there she is. She's, a couple of weeks ago, she told me, why don't we just bless the children all the time, even when they're not here? I said, maybe that's a good idea. It really is. And so wherever those children are, I guess they're in California somewhere, let's bless them. We say, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. And so it is. Please rise and let's sing our peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God as Creator, family The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. Have a wonderful week.